A school district of the future prepares lifelong learners to demonstrate mastery of 21st century competencies that will equip them for continuous success.
DeKalb County School District is a leader in K-12 and early childhood education and has developed a comprehensive master plan to ensure school improvements are made throughout the DCSD community.
Students can reach their fullest potential and excel when schools are well maintained and capital resources are up to date.
Whether it's state-of-the-art learning spaces, our 7 robotic programs, renovated and innovative schools, or technology devices for every child,
these resources and investments not only benefit the DCSD community, but also the taxpayers of DeKalb County.
A top priority for DCSD is supporting social and emotional skills of young learners and their families, and our Early Learning Center addresses the readiness gap.
Every 5 years, we assess DCSD schools and facilities, technology equipment, and examine construction to address overcrowding and to accommodate growth so that DCSD scholars can thrive. To achieve and excel, we provide technology at your fingertips with anytime, anywhere access, infrastructure enhancements, business system integration, and instructional tools to support top-of-the-line connectivity and cybersecurity, and a family impact hub that meets diverse families where they are.
So, how do we pay for these general improvements to impact student achievement and positively affect the DCSD community?
SPLOST is a 1-penny sales tax that allows school districts to fund their capital improvements. The voters of DeKalb County will be asked to extend the 1-penny sales tax for another 5 years. This education special purpose local option sales tax is critical to building our children's future and equipping our community for success.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. This is our January 2023 meeting, and it is now 6:04, and I'm calling the meeting to order. Following our agenda, we want to welcome all of our visitors, our guests. And I see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So welcome everybody and Happy New Year. So we will move right into item number 2 on our agenda, review and approval of the January 25th, 2023 meeting agenda. Are there any corrections or any updates to our meeting agenda as distributed? All right, hearing, can we by unanimous consent agree to the meeting agenda as distributed if there are no objections? All right, hearing none, the meeting agenda is approved. Moving to number 3, item number 3, review and approval of the meeting minutes from November 16, 2022. Are there any corrections to the meeting minutes from the November 16, 2022 meeting? All right, can we by unanimous consent approve the meeting minutes as distributed for November 16, 2022 if there are no objections? All right, hearing none, then our meeting minutes are approved as distributed. Moving right along to item number 4, which is discuss follow-up matters from prior meetings and report on SPLOST items presented at the December 2022 and January 2023 Board of Education meetings. Richard?
Yeah, so there were only 2 items that were presented in December, and there were 0 SPLOST items presented in January. The 2 items for December, first was an approval of an amendment number 1 for architectural services for the Midvale Elementary School major building system replacement. And then the
Richard, we can't hear you. You're muted.
So unless I might have accidentally hit the keypad. Okay, so there were, I don't know if you didn't hear any of it or not, but there were only 2 items that were presented in December. There were 0 items presented in January. The first item in December was approval of amendment number 1 for architectural services for Midvale Elementary School major building system replacement project. And then the second item was approval of amendment number 2 for architectural services for the Rock Chapel Elementary School major building system replacement project. And those were the only 2 items presented. Like I said, both of those were in December with none in January. I'll just move right on to 5 if that's okay, because as I said, we didn't have any contracts. We just had those 2 amendments, and that would be for December and January. There were no contracts that were presented.
Hold up before you go on to 5.
Go ahead.
Are there any questions in regards to the items that were presented at the December 2022 Board of Education meeting? Okay.
All right. For 5, as I was saying, there were no contracts that were presented in either January or December. Okay, concludes number 5.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Next on our agenda, review of community feedback collected. Daniel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We received several emails since our last meeting. I know Richard has responded to some of them. One email in particular, one of the emails that was responded to was the SPLOST MSR expectations. Let's see. Was concerned about the December 2022 SPLOST MSR not being posted as of January 7th. Let's see. There was another email on January 18th about Sunny 8.1 million being the same as 8.8 million. And that is related to the planned receipts entry for April 2022. SPLOST 5 sales tax receipts in Appendix C. And there was an email that was sent on the 22nd about Table 16, closeout and completed project list. The information was contained in Table 15 and prior MSRs. The items are substantial completion and estimated completion date. Questions about certain terms about substantial completion, the completion date, or how is the completion date calculated, what the estimated completion date means, and how is the estimated completion date defined. And that's a summary of the items received since the last meeting.
All right, I will look for some of those. I do not recall the last one in particular. So there was one from December that I responded to December 16th. I had sent some, actually I sent it on January 3rd. I sent responses back on that. And then the one about the MSR. So, and this one I do need to fully reply. I need to first check and see if I've gotten the email. But I did respond to the committee that actually AECOM is not contractually obligated to send the MSR to the district until the 10th of each month. In January, they sent they did send the MSR to us on January 10th. It took, because of other duties and things I needed to do, it took me a number of days to get that reviewed. And then we had some changes that needed to be made, and then it was posted as timely as we could get to it. But I've written a note to make a point to go back and look for the other emails to make sure I've replied to all those, because I don't remember the last one on the 22nd. I'll look for that one.
Richard, I just forwarded it to you. I know
Okay.
it was just received on Sunday. Let me see. Let's see who all she sent it to. Yeah, she didn't send it to you, but I just forwarded it to you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll look at that then.
Okay, any questions in regards to the community feedback? And just as a side point, so we do have an SPLOST email, and I believe it's no longer with Gmail. It's under, I believe it's under the guise of the DeKalb County school system. Is that correct, Andy?
It is, yes, it is. You know what, on mine, it just comes in as SPLOST committee. But we'll try to get that posted so everybody can see what the actual email address is. Yeah, we'll look for that and actually put it out there.
Okay. On to number 7, the MSR review. Mel?
Thank you, Kathy, and good evening, everybody. I'll try to share my screen right now, and we'll do a quick page turn of the end December MSR. Starting with table 1, which summarizes our funding. Well, I should point out that get to the table for you. There you go. Starting with SPLOST 4, no additional tax revenue, of course, will be received. That total was $509 million. Table 2, SPLOST 5 funding. Final funding number was $772.9 million, which included $616.8 million in sales tax revenue. And that was well above the original forecast and above the current budget of $615.5 million. We added table 3 for the end December report to capture and report SPLOST 6 funding. And from August through December, total tax receipts collected were approximately $663.2 million. I should point out that we didn't have any additional GISFIC revenue. That's revenue processed through JDOE and dispersed to GISFIC in November or December. Our current total for SPLOST 4 is approximately $84.5 million. And our current total for SPLOST 5 is almost $742 million. In terms of commitments and expenditures, one may see that SPLOST 4 expenditures up slightly to $564.9 million. That was roughly 12,000 from the Hightower Elementary School project being closed out. And SPLOST 5 expenditures rose slightly to $280.3 million. No SPLOST 6 expenditures to report to date. You may recall chart 1 shows you the planned funding, actual funding, the planned and actual commitments, and the actual expenditures for SPLOST 4. Obviously, that's fairly static. Chart 2 shows similar data for SPLOST 5. There's your $280.3 million. And obviously, we've got SPLOST 5 additional expenditures to go. Table 5 provides your totals by budget phase. These are our standard 7 phases that we work through for each project. SPLOST 4 shows $232.7 million. That is the carryover projects that are reported on table 9. And SPLOST 6, I'm sorry, table 6, you pick SPLOST 5 revenue, and that's up to $280.3 million roughly, as we pointed out in chart 3, or table 3. Table 7, called the rainbow chart, breaks those expenditures for SPLOST 5 down by region. And please remember that the Region 0 district-wide bucket includes non-construction accounts or projects, as well as those projects that were bundled and include facilities in more than one region. And we refer you to Appendix E, where you can see the details for those bundled or rolled up projects. Looking at our performance measurements, for our cost performance ratio, remember we calculate the current budget compared to the EAC, the estimate at completion. And if the estimate at completion is greater than 5% of the current budget, then the project shows red on the early warning indicator. Table 8 shows those projects that actually have an indicator not equal to green. In this cycle, only 40235 district managed project is specifically titled Technology ERP Finance HR System. And it was reporting negative EAC or negative variance. And we've asked Finance Division and Division of Information and Instructional Technology to take a look at that. There's the actual legend that you can see there. Table 9 is the detail for SPLOST 4. Computer's stalling. As you can see, SPLOST 4 is essentially closed out. Hightower Elementary finished up over the summer, last summer, and it's in closeout phase now. The only other project not completely closed is the culinary art lab at Towers High School, and technically speaking, that's on hold based on CMP recommendations. Table 10 provides your cost performance ratio information for SPLOST 5. And I'm happy to report that all construction project budget versus expenditures are in the green for SPLOST 5. We did mention the 40235, the technology project that has a slight overage. Less than 5% is why it's amber, not red, but still needs attention. We call that to the appropriate divisions for research. Tables 11A through 11H, you may recall, provide the data from tables 9 and 10, but They're organized by region and they're sorted by project name, where tables 9 and 10 are by project number, tables 11A through 11H are by project name. So if you know your region, all you have to do is look for your project name to get your cost details. Again, the 40235 is the only project that stands out in the cost performance ratio analysis. So we'll spin through each region. Recall the color coding for the regions matches the official district map that we record at the front of the report. And I think it's good on 11H. Table 12 is your schedule performance measure summary. I know it looks fairly daunting, but there's only one new entry on this report. And that is the very last entry, actually. It's project number 38035, the Green Forest Drive renovation project. Over a year ago, the project was launched with the intent to provide swing space for other projects that would be coming up in construction. That strategy doesn't really work given the issues with the projects that we have in the pipeline. So the Green Forest Drive project is on hold while the district decides on the future use of that facility. Everything else on the list we've talked about previously. The key items we've got our eyes on are security vestibules, particularly Group B, storefront deliveries, and the existing glazing deliveries have started, but the balance of those installations really won't start and complete until late February into March. Otherwise, almost all the HVAC projects are dealing with the fact that major mechanical and electrical equipment is hard to get. It's very expensive besides, but the lead time is really more of a problem for us. For example, fan coil units or heat pumps are running 36 weeks lead time. Electrical switch gear is, we've been told, up to 72 weeks. So all of our contractors are fighting through the supply chain crunch. And as you can see on the detailed schedule report table, those projects that feature red almost consistently include HVAC or electrical work. HVAC. We think it's appropriate that we ask the board to consider rebaselining the projects once we've got a firm grip on what our equipment delivery dates might be. We're not sure it's really helpful to continue to report finish dates that we won't be able to achieve. So that's a conversation for our leadership and the board.
Mel,
Yes.
real quick. So that just means that go back, look at the deployment dates or the go live dates and readjust.
Yes, ma'am. For example, if we're convinced that based on the existing conditions that the project can't finish before July 31, 2024, let's say this project, recalibrate that target date so that we're measuring against it as opposed to a date. That's a decision by the board. Tables 15A through 15H provide that same schedule comparison data. It's organized by they're organized by region and by project name. Well, by SPLOST, by region, and by project name. So we keep SPLOST 4 in that report, SPLOST 5, and at some point we'll be adding SPLOST 6. Do those pretty quickly. They're all summarized again on tables 10 and 11. I'm sorry, 9 and 10. And then we come to table 16, which is our completed organized by SPLOST, and then project number. All of your closed out on top, and then your completed projects would move into closeout once we finish that phase. So there's considerable entries on the list going back to SPLOST 4. Note that 54 SPLOST 4 carryover projects, that's what equals to 270 million from the earlier table, not the total that's on the chart, 534 million. It's a matter of what was decided to carry in this report long before I got here, but it seems to make sense. And then we have our appendices. Appendix A is your detailed SPLOST 5 carryover information, and what you see is a listing that tells you who project name, project number, project status as in phase, the original budget or the current budget, commitments and expenditures, the estimate of completion, and then the variance, if any. We show the start and finish dates, and then any scope description or special notes. Budget by the 7 phases. So that's always helpful if somebody has a question about what's inside of a project budget. Appendix A represents that detailed information for SPLOST 4. And we've got 20 pages of that. And then Appendix B represents similar information for SPLOST 5. And we've got about 20 pages of SPLOST 5 detailed program information. Appendix C represents your funding information broken down by each funding source. So for each month in the SPLOST funding cycle, you see your sales tax funding, your bond funding, any reimbursements from GISFIC, JDOE, and a total, and then a percentage against plan all the way through to the end of the SPLOST cycle, which we show here, July of 2022. Then Appendix D shows similar information, but it's the combined funding along with the commitments and the expenditures by month. So you always can line up where we had planned to be with where we are, funding versus commitments versus expenditures. Obviously, our goal is to always ensure that we've got adequate funding to match our planned commitments and the actual expenditures. Appendix E, we mentioned previously, all right, looks like I've got an internet connection issue here. There it is. It breaks down Region 0 district-wide, those bundle projects, so that, for example, where you have more than one facility in that bundle project, the detail for that facility by region is found in Appendix E. So you'll note when you take a look at it, you'll see the same project number repeating in various regions, but you'll notice it's assigned to different facilities. And in some cases, our accounting folks labeled those as a 0.01, and then they went to a system where they appended the project number with the actual facility ID. So we're thinking about what might be the best way to do that for SPLOST 6 going forward. We're having those conversations right now. Either way works, but we want to make sure it's consistent and then easy for anybody who's trying to follow it. That's pretty much concludes my prepared remarks. I'm happy to take questions.
All right. Excuse me. Any questions for Mel? Okay, everybody's too quiet.
Why, thank you.
No, I do not have any questions at this time. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you, Sarah.
You.
All righty.
Hey,
Alright.
actually, I do have a question, and it's really general. Mel, Daniel, you had mentioned that there was conversation that was going to be wrapped around rebaselining the projects. And just out of curiosity, we look down a little further into that statement. Is there language or in the standard boilerplate contract that talks about performance incentives or penalties? That's just a general question out to the floor.
Okay, who are you posing that question to, Kevin?
So I would pose it to either Daniel or potentially Richard. Sorry, Mel or Richard. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, I will say that, yes, not rewards, but I do believe we have some language in there about damages, but we don't typically provide incentive for completing early. We don't have that in the contract. But yeah, there is language about penalties.
Thank you. Just a question. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, anyone else have any questions for Mel regarding the MSR report? All right, moving right along to number 8, facilities maintenance report, work order report update.
Yeah, so I am going to share my screen. Can everybody see that? The DeKalb County data dashboards?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, so one thing I do have to report, unfortunately, is that we have not updated this since October. It is one thing that we are working on, but these are the same numbers here that were reported at the November meeting. I did talk with Bobby Moncrief, who is our director of facilities, this afternoon. And I have some preliminary numbers while they're pulling all the numbers together, so this can be updated. So right now, and this is since October 22. So this, what's on the screen goes through October 21, 2022. So since October 22nd, 2022, we have opened 1,584 work orders. We have 746 that have been closed, and we have 689 that are in progress right now. So, and as I said, these are preliminary numbers. We're working to finalize those and to get this updated, and just to show this again, let's pick, I'll just randomly pick region 5. Hopefully it's a good one. So once you go into pick a selected region, you can see these are the total number of work orders, and this would be total number as of October 21st. And like I said, we're working to get this updated. So that's the total that were closed. And then you go up to this graph, you can see the total that had been opened, or I'm sorry, the total that were opened, the total that were in progress. I'm sorry, that was approved. And then you see the ones that are in progress. And then you can also go here to see more detail. And you can see what the additional detail is for each school. And that does slide over. I don't have my screen large enough to see all of that right now.
Richard, are you aware of, I'm sorry, Richard, are you aware of, and if possible, can you share what the circumstances that's preventing that from updated?
It gets updated monthly, just with the end of the year. It's just been, it's been real busy. We've been working on, of course, been working on the work orders, but we've also, this is our budget cycle. So we've been working on budgets and a few other things. So it's just, it's something that we know we need to do, but we've had a few other pressing items that have come in and that we've had to address as well.
That makes sense. Thank you for, I've encountered that in my own work. So thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying.
So as a follow-up question, Richard, when do you anticipate that the website, the dashboard will be updated?
I failed to ask Bobby that. I'll check with them and let you know, Kathy. I'm hoping by next week. Some of the issue too is the staff member that was and they weren't in operations. The staff member that this information was being sent to and that was updating the dashboards had left, and we just need to make sure we're getting it to the right person now to make sure it gets updated.
And to follow up on that, will there be a procedure, a process going forward to make sure that the website is updated regularly?
Yeah, we normally get this information out on a monthly basis, so it I can find out, whether it's the beginning of or end of, but it's usually sent out every month and is then inputted. Now, one other thing I'll show on here in regards to that, I'm not sure what that is. But when you go to the historical data, so you can go back and you can look at all the way back to when we started this March, and you can look at the data then. So you hopefully we have, so we're doing fairly well there. We just need to get the current data in. Anything else?
All right, no other questions? All right, moving right along to
Actually,
new
Kathy,
business.
if you don't mind, one thing that I failed to do, and let me get back to my screen. I just wanted to remind everybody how to get to that. Let me share this screen again. So if you go to our website, let's see if I can start at the very beginning. All right, if you go to the right below the banner, so this is our banner that scrolls through, go to data dashboards, and then over on the left, go to operations. And that is where the data dashboard is. That was it.
Okay. One last chance. Any questions for Richard in regards to the facilities maintenance report or the work orders? All right. Move right along to new business. Notification of upcoming community meetings. I think that information was provided in our packet. There are none.
Correct.
The November 2023 meeting, we need to vote on whether we want to have it on the 15th or we want to have it on November 29th, because Thanksgiving is, it falls, our regular meeting would fall the day before Thanksgiving. So we definitely don't want to meet the day before Thanksgiving. So are there any preferences for the 15th or the 29th? And normally I think we do it early. We've not gone to the latter part.
I would like to vote for the 15th.
I second the 15th.
Okay, can we put that into a form of a motion, please?
I
Sure.
make a motion that, this is Lisa Wright. Let me turn my screen on. Hello, everyone. This is Lisa Wright. I make a motion that we schedule our November meeting to be November 2023 on November 15th.
All right, is there a second?
This is Sarah Rowers. I second the motion.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded that we move our November 2023 meeting to November 15th. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All right, hearing none, can we by unanimous consent agree that we will move our meeting for November 2023 to November 15th, 2023? If there are no objections. All right, hearing none, that means our November meeting is now November 15th, 2023. All right, thank you very much. That was easy. The next on the agenda is the election of the chair and the vice chair. And I do apologize. I guess everybody's got a lot going on. We should have had an election in November and nominations in October, and we did not. So we're planning to do that next month. So if you would like to run for chair or vice chair, please submit your name. Any questions? All right, moving right along to D, send photo and biography to update the website and badges. So I know my photo is probably like 10, 11 years old. So I need to update my photo and my bio. So please make sure that, Richard, do you want us to send the information to Monica?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be best. You send it to Monica, she'll do a work ticket, send that, and that will go to IT and they will get everything posted. We do only have maybe 7 members that are on there now. And then I believe we actually need to, I don't know that we've done this, we need to send out information on updating the badges. So we'll send
Yeah,
an
I
email
hadn't
to the
hadn't
committee.
gotten to that yet.
Okay.
You jumped ahead of me. So let's have our photos and bios to Monica before February 10th. Close of business.
Okay, that sounds good.
I don't know who was that.
That was Monica agreeing to make sure that we get all that in. And
Okay.
she will send an email out and hound y'all if you don't send it in by then. So send updated pictures and bios.
Okay. And badges, we normally have badges that will allow us access into the building. We have not had any badges. Well, I know mine is expired because due to COVID. So it's that time of year again that we need to go ahead and update our badges. So Richard or Monica, do you want to send out an email and let us know what the particulars are?
Yeah, we will.
Richard, you and I we can discuss that. That's no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, if I may, is there, going back to the last topic, is there a particular format for the pictures and the bios that we should adhere to, or just kind of just go for what it?
I would look at, go ahead, Kathy. I don't want to speak for you.
Thank you. I would highly suggest, Kevin, that you go out and look on the website now and just kind of get an idea of what's out there now, and then just follow in suit.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All righty. So moving right along to unfinished business 10 and the committee training. So I guess I'm going to have to throw my hat and disclaimer in and apologize. I did not want to have the training this month because it wasn't announced. I didn't think that everybody would be ready for it. So we need to discuss when we'd like to have the training.
Well,
And-
I will go along that with that, Kathy, and say, no, it wasn't your fault. It was mine, because I had it on my calendar as a placeholder, but so I had it for Wednesday. I think it was that Monday afternoon or Tuesday. I realized that I had a placeholder and didn't actually send out an invitation to everyone. So that's why it was a little late, and I had to send Kathy the training also, the presentation to look at. So what I had put on the agenda was just 2 dates, but if neither of those dates work, we could do it pretty much anytime.
Is the preference of the committee to do it on a Wednesday evening? You know, our meeting for next month is on the 22nd, so it has to be before. It has to be either the 16th or the 9th or the 1st. Or we can, with no afterwards.
This is Lisa. I'm not available on the 16th, just so you know.
Okay, well,
And this is Tommy. I'm not on the 16th either.
okay, so let's not say when you're not available. Let's say when you're available. Because that's a lot easier than I can't do it on this day. So 16th is out. Is there another date? So we've got the 1st, the 9th, and the 1st and the 9th.
For clarification,
Oh.
Chair, are we saying Wednesday in February?
Yeah, well, that whatever your
It's-
preference is, it doesn't necessarily have to be. I'm just thinking that we normally meet on a Wednesday. So if Wednesdays are, the preference, if it's a different day in the week, then, all means.
The
So-
reason why I say that is because it's Wednesday, the 1st, the 8th, the 15th.
Oh, thank you, Sabrina. I'm
So I
trying to
didn't
look
want
at,
people to
yeah, I'm
think
trying
that.
to,
I had
trying
just
to
pulled
look
up
at
my
my
calendar.
calendar.
'Cause, yeah,
Trying to look at my calendar in the dark, so my fault. So it's the 1st, the 8th, and I apologize, not the 16th, the 15th. So, any suggestions?
I would say maybe the 8th might be good. That way they're not 2 weeks where y'all are both meeting on Wednesday or meeting on Wednesdays 2 weeks in a row, if that's an issue for anyone.
Okay, does anybody have a preference? Oof,
The 8th.
the 8th? Is that Lisa?
Yes,
Lisa, was that
ma'am.
you? Okay, all right. And do we want to do it at 6, 6:30, 7? It's going to be at least an hour.
This is Sarah. 6 o'clock would be my preference so that it aligns with the time I typically have set aside for this meeting.
Okay. All right, so please put on your calendars. We're going to have them. Oh. Okay, so let's do this formally. Is there a motion to have our meeting or our training on the 8th at 6 p.m.?
Chair Kathy, this is Sabrina McTeer. I move that we hold our SPLOST committee, advisory committee training on Wednesday, February the 8th, beginning at 6:00 p.m. virtually.
Lisa Wright seconds it.
All right, thank you so much. It's been moved and seconded that we hold our SPLOST advisory committee training on February 8th at 6 p.m. Is there any discussion? Are we ready for the question? Hearing none. Can we, by unanimous consent, agree that we will have our SPLOST advisory committee training on February 8th at 6 p.m. via Zoom? Or, yeah, virtually. All right, hearing none. We'll have our training on the 8th at 6 p.m. Thank you so much. All righty. Next on our agenda is collection of recommendations from the meeting and follow-up matters for our next meeting. I didn't hear anything unless someone else did.
Well, there maybe not follow-up items, but just a couple of to-dos for us. I'll update the calendar and send that out. You know, the one that I sent out had the 19th, had the 15th and the 29th on it. So I'll take the 29th off. I'll send out an invite for the training, and we'll update the SPLOST committee website with the correct email address.
Well, you know what, Richard, can we, because we have the contact information that has the committee's email addresses, but I don't have cell phone numbers or contact numbers. So is it any way possible we can get contact numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would think that we probably would want the email address on this sheet, on the contact sheet.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Number 12, announcements for a committee member attendance. So I'm back on my soapbox. So there is a requirement in our bylaws that says that, we've made the commitment to be on this advisory committee, and we need to attend the meetings. The meetings are only once a month, for an hour, hour and a half top. Please, if there's something going on that you can't attend, send us an email, send myself, Daniel, Richard, an email to let us know that you will not be attending. Since we are fully a committee that is full now, we only need 7 people in order to have a quorum. So if 3 people out, we're good. We're still good. But it's that 4th person that will kind of hold us up. So please let us know when you will not be in attendance. Any questions? And also, as a caveat, if you miss 3 consecutive meetings, you in essence have abandoned your position on the advisory committee. And I will be emailing you to let you know, hey, before you get to the 3rd, I do give you a little, hey, you got 2. Is there something going on? Is there something that we can support? So we want to stay fully, I hate to say it like this, but fully staffed, because it's a pain trying to find people to be on the committee. So please, please try to attend the meetings. And that's why we do put the next meetings at the bottom of the agenda, so that you can put it on your calendar, the current month for the next month, so you don't miss it. Any questions for me? All right, any announcements from anybody else? I did want to make one announcement that Deidre Pierce, who was a former member of the SPLOST Advisory Committee, is now the vice chair of the Board of Education. So congratulations to her. All right. Hearing none, it is now, gosh, 6:58. If there are no, wait a minute, hold the presses. That will not be a public meeting. It's just for the committee. All right. Can we, by unanimous consent, agree that our meeting for January 25th, 2023 is adjourned at 6:59 p.m.? If there are no objections, our meeting is now adjourned.